Hi, Dennis Weiss. Welcome to our town. We're at the Great Plains Theater, who hosts us for this program most of the time. We have Sergeant Garcia. Nick, good morning.
Good morning, Dennis.
So excited to have the National Guard, Army National Guard, sitting in front of the camera this morning to tell the story. So I've got a chance to meet you a few times.
Yeah.
You stuck me on a Black Hawk helicopter a couple of weeks ago now.
In Beloit, yes.
In Beloit, and with some other community people. We had a great time. Got to hear a little bit about the National Guard, and I thought it'd be a great chance for you to talk to our audience and once we put it on the internet, talk to the whole world, right? About the benefits of the Army National Guard and the Army National Guard in Abilene, Kansas.
So the National Guard, we have a two-part mission, a state mission and a federal mission. So if there's like a natural disaster, tornado, hurricane, wildfires in western Kansas, we help out with that. But
do we ever have any of those wildfires in Kansas?
I think there might be some in western Kansas right now, yeah. But we also have like a worldwide mission as well. One of the things that the Guard does is we offer 100% state tuition assistance to the Guard soldiers. So that's something that just got passed this fall in July, August, that we're really excited about.
So I probably should have said this, but they're used to me. So you're the recruiting officer for our area. Your job is to tell the story, promote the mission of the National Guard, and to look for young people who want to provide for their future through the Army National Guard. That's what you do every day, right? So, you know, sometimes people in uniform, we think we know everything there is to know about what they do. Well, rarely do any of us do. You guys do, and that's your job to communicate this. But I think one of the things that we learned, I learned it first from you, heard it again in Beloit on the helicopter trip. But I think what has been done with tuition assistance is an amazing opportunity for young people. So I want you to really flesh that out for us.
So the National Guard, it's 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year for your annual training. So with that, it's perfect for students or people that would like to get an education but also serve their country. And the 100% state tuition assistance, it matches up to KU's tuition rate. With that, we also have a wide variety of like scholarships available to service members.
They can sign up at the Army National Guard and start college
after their basic training and advanced individual training, yes.
Right. So before this last legislation, there's been a couple of good things, but you know, you got some of those benefits, but you got them after. And a couple of things. So you move the benefits forward to a fully accepted person in the Army National Guard, and that's a significant enhancement in the benefit by moving it forward. But the fact that the rules have changed, so the highest tuition in Kansas is the metric, and that happens to be KU. Right. So you'll pay wherever they want to go up to the value of the highest four-year college in the state. That's quite an offer. Yeah, really is. For
a 6-year contract, you know, you work it out 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer. It's just over a year work for the six years for free college tuition. So they don't work for free either, do they? No, you also you have different pay grades. You can get in as an E1, and with the National Guard, we have the recruit sustainment program that basically trains the soldiers to what to expect at basic training and advanced individual training. And there's also a couple different ways for them to get promoted up to E3, E4, so a private first class or a specialist before they get to basic, which just means a little bit more money in their pocket while they're there at basic. Sergeant Garcia, because it's TV, and it's a camera, and we deal with humans, so you repeat things so they know what you're talking about. So you take a word picture of the National Guard service. How many weekends a month? 1 weekend a month. How many weeks a year? Two weeks in the summer for annual training. That leaves a lot of time for that young person to pursue a separate career. Roger. They could be working at Great Plains Manufacturing. They could be working at Great Plains Theater. Right.
in between their National Guard service. And that's part of the earning opportunity, just the money side. You can pursue parallel careers by being
or go to college.
Or go to
Yeah.
college. So I worked full-time all of my way through college, so I'm sure there's lots of people else that have done that too. So that's all possible. You don't restrict people from doing any of that.
No.
As an employer, I can tell you, we've had several National Guard service members as part of our Eagle team, and it's not only by law are we supposed to give those opportunities to service people to serve their country, but we eagerly look forward to that, because the people that are your best soldiers are some of our best employees. They understand command structure, they understand planning, they understand training, they understand the requirement to the ultimate customer, which is the guy in the house or the guy in the business. They're great employees.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell us about some of the jobs that are available to young people to do.
We have a wide variety of jobs available. We have administrative, aviation, field artillery, infantry, medics, military police. So there's just a wide variety of jobs. If you would like to do a job that would help you get on the job training in civilian force, we can help with that. Or if you just like to go out and blow stuff up on the weekends, we can help with that as well.
So we have a National Guard Armory over by the fairgrounds here.
Yep.
So we have a unit here in Abilene. It's an artillery unit.
Yes, sir.
Right? That unit has been deployed a couple times in the last 10 years of my Eagle Communications life. So that they went and protected. In fact, would they just get back from Syria a while back? One of our local units?
That would be 2nd 130th in Hiawatha, Marysville.
Okay. I remember seeing the news, so pointing out that while putting out wildfires and draining water from floods away, you are a military unit, and the history of such in our recent history, the National Guard has been an important component to the conflicts around the world as well.
Right.
Real soldier stuff.
That's true.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I want to talk about you a little bit. So tell us who you are and why you're here and why you're in the National Guard.
I actually get asked that question quite a bit. I'm Nick Garcia. I was born and raised in Emporia, Kansas. I enlisted in 2009 for a variety of reasons, for the college benefits, mostly for the camaraderie, just to be around soldiers. I'd been on sports teams growing up my entire life, and once that kind of ended, I just missed being part of a team, and definitely found that within the National Guard.
Well, there's a common thread. So we have a lot of people who love their high school sports experience as well. I know that when you hit about junior, senior year, occasionally young people think about what comes next.
Right.
So I think it's kind of cool that you can sit here and tell the story. This is a good option for somebody who really loves the camaraderie of sports and doesn't really know what is next.
Right.
And so I'm going to add to that and go, and you're thinking college might be good for you, but you really don't know how it's going to happen.
Yes, and even if college isn't good for you, if you're not sure what you want to do after high school, or if you're just a lull in your life where you're not sure where your career plan's going, we can help get you on a path to success with the National Guard. It helps open a lot of doors, not only within the military, but on the civilian side.
If I'm wrong, just tell me. They're used to it behind the camera and me being wrong. So I think I heard in Beloit. So trade schools, we have a number of them in Kansas. Yes, tuition assistance. Yes, right? So we're the person who doesn't quite know, and Dad's going, electricians are really in high demand. Why don't you go to trade school? If that family decision is that path, the National Guard says, sure,
right,
wherever you want to go. It's a cap on the highest tuition in the state of Kansas. All this is yes, go right ahead. So they take 2 years of trade school, and then they go, I'd really like to finish my up in a more traditional 4-year program. The National Guard answer to that is?
Yes.
Yes. I think this is a message that resonates, Nick, but I don't know if it gets said enough. Yeses are good, no's are not. Sure. And as I listened to the pitch in Beloit, I saw somebody had sat in a meeting room in your organization and said, we need to find a way of saying yes to people who are not sure what their goals are, what their options are. We need to find a way of saying yes to a lot of that. And gosh, I heard a great thing. There's a lot of yeses there. There's
a lot of benefits to being a soldier in the National Guard. I think it opens a lot of doors, you know, to help build your resume when it does, if you are in college and you know you're ready to start pursuing a civilian career. Just having National Guard on your resume definitely helps get a foot in the door.
Can you speak to, as a young man, I could too, but you know that was a long time ago, but can you speak to, as a young man, that the decision process that you went through about trying to figure out what was good for Nick?
When I went through my recruiting process?
So did you know exactly where you were going to end up the day you graduated from Emporia High School?
I went to college for a few years, and then after that, that's when I'd always somewhat wanted to pursue a military career, because it's just in my family. Mm-hmm. But after like the sports kind of thing went out of the way, I missed being part of a team, so I went and just talked to a few different recruiters. And
so I'm leading you down a trail here. It's how many old people like me looked at you when you were 17 or 18 and said, so you're standing at your high school graduation party at your house or wherever, and they go, so Nick, what are you going to do with your life?
Quite a few.
Quite a few, right?
Yeah.
And you go, I'm not quite sure. And they go, what do you mean you're not quite sure? You're supposed to be sure. I think I'm trying to make that kid out there who most of them, if not all of them, are really not quite sure.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that's not only okay, it's normal at 17, 18 to not know what you're going to end up being in life. But I also want to say that very few organizations are offering the flexibility you are in. Okay, find out what you want to be. You got 6 years of opportunity here to grow up, to grow out,
yep,
and find out what you want to be, because we've got a plethora of opportunities for you to put your hands on and try out.
That's true, yes, sir.
That's pretty cool. So who do you work for? Who's your boss?
My boss is the governor of Kansas, so there.
Do you salute when you see him? He was in town the other day. I didn't bother asking him, how's Nick doing?
So. He probably doesn't.
So seriously, explain that. Why is your boss the governor of Kansas?
Because we're the Kansas Army National Guard, so
okay.
The governor of each state is the governor of their selective National Guard unit.
A commander, if you will, right, of the National Guard. So, you know, we're in Abilene, Kansas. Eisenhower grew up here. His Presidential Library Museum is here. And we get a chance, Dave and I, to go set up the camera over there and talk to those fine people. And it's always amazing what the history of Eisenhower brings to relevance to every conversation. So, you know, Eisenhower was not a governor. He was the Supreme Allied Commander and then President of the United States. But we're sitting here also about to hit September, and in September of 1957, September of 1957, right as he took office, we had the Little Rock, Arkansas, racial tension over 9 children who wanted to go to high school. So Eisenhower is the President of the United States, and the governor of Arkansas had sent the Arkansas National Guard, which is how I'm tying you to this story, to block those 9 children from attending high school. Eisenhower pulled his cards out of his pocket and sent the 101st Airborne to say they could. Maybe not the funnest moment of our history, but certainly one that turned out right and illustrates that structure.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully our history of things like that in this country are over. But the governor of Kansas, as a commander of the Army National Guard, he does make decisions about where you go and what you do.
That's true.
Unless you're federalized and sit Syria.
Yeah.
So what's the funnest part, not of your recruiting job, Nick, but when you wake up in the morning, you put that particular looking clothes on, what's the best part of dressing that way for you?
It's just running into different people of all walks of life, honestly. Just meeting different people and talking and hearing their story.
We have a young man sitting over there from Junction City that you brought with you. He's a private, which
Yeah.
means he probably stands up when you come in the room, right? He's
That's
supposed
right.
to. So he's a little younger than you.
He's 19.
Okay. So he's experiencing this benefit, and he's listening to us, and he's thinking you're okay, and the old guy, I don't know what he's talking about. But the reality of it is that's the mission you're on, is to find young people who want to find a way.
That's
and
correct.
give them an opportunity. So he's sitting here listening to me today. If he was working at Sonic in Junction City, he wouldn't be sitting here listening to us today, would he?
No, we wouldn't.
So I think what we're saying is what you just said, you get to go see different people from different walks of life. I think we can prove that if Dave flipped that camera around right now, couldn't we? Yeah. So great opportunity, Nick. I want to talk about the helicopter flight a little bit because it was very fun.
Yeah.
So you told me what it was. My wife couldn't go. She had a different commitment, but I went and we all got our little safety briefing and told what to do. And I was on flight 1. So the helicopter was at cold start, right? No rotors turning when I boarded. So as we board, I'm watching your crew who fly out of Salina. That's where they came from, I think.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm watching the crew and the professionalism. So maybe we take for granted that all pilots and all people who make things fly are professional, but these are Army National Guard soldiers. They're watching them. There was some gray hair on those fellas. They were senior officers,
yeah.
But I just watched the professionalism as they went through their duty that day, which is to haul some people like me around the sky for a while so you could deliver the message about the Army National Guard. But as I strapped in and looked out over the scenery of north central Kansas, my thoughts were this: what an incredible organization. And their mission today is to just simply fly people around so we can hear about the Army National Guard. But they could have just as easily been loading up real soldiers, headed to a real place where you needed to stand for your country. Because the same training and same planning, all of that is the exact same thing. And I felt proud, not that I was there, but that those guys were there.
Right.
That was just cool.
Well, General Mohat, his logo is Kansas Proud, so glad
cool.
that kind of resonated on you.
Very good, very good. So what's the most thing we haven't talked about that you have seen in your National Guard career, or even some of your buddies? What's the coolest story you've heard about it, something that they've done?
Something a soldier has done?
Place they went, things they saw, fun things.
I know personally, I was deployed to Djibouti, Africa for 11 months, and it was not an experience I'd ever be in, you know.
Any other way,
yeah.
right?
But I got 2 weeks to leave, so I pretty much a free plane ticket anywhere in the world, and I went to Spain for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So, but as far as like the Guard, I guess I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I think being deployed to Africa, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. Well, we're under 2 minutes. I told you it goes by in a blink. So Nick, how can we help you? And that's the people watching. How can we help you help us by providing young people an opportunity to talk to you? Where can they find you?
They can find me at 1009 Northwest 8th Street in Abilene, Kansas, or call or text 785-806-2349.
Okay, and you'd love to talk to anybody between the ages of?
17 and 34 for non-prior service.
Dang, I just missed the top end there, Dave. He doesn't really want to talk to me anymore. Okay, Nick, thanks for coming.
Thanks, Dennis.
More importantly, I think, thanks for being willing to go out and tell young people about the Army National Guard. That's great duty. We need more young people willing to serve, willing to do the things you do. Thanks for coming.
Thanks again.
Will we do it again one day?
Yeah.
How about the helicopter ride?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Hey, I'm Dennis Weiss, work for Eagle Communication. This is Sergeant Nick Garcia. He works for
Kansas Army National Guard.
That guy. And the governor of Kansas.
Yeah.
All right. You have a great day, Nick.
You too.
You have a great day as well.